everyone. Welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. All right, Dottie, I was looking at the schedule, and I see the word plussing. That reminds me of when my kids were little. Instead of saying addition, they would say, "I'm going to do plussing today." Are we doing math? Because if so, I might jump off the podcast.
No. But yep, I get it. I've done the same thing. No, today we're going to talk about plussing the experience. I know I have not gone crazy. Plussing the experience. So what does that mean? That means taking something that you already do well and adding something to make it even better. We want to elevate those everyday little moments that we have in our business, in our bowling centers, in our venues, by adding creative and something unexpected that exceeds the guest's expectations, right?
Okay, I could see that. I mean, I think of a fancy hotel I go to. It's like, wow, this hotel's so nice. You know, it's clean. You get in the room and then you're like, oh, wow, there's a little duck out of a towel. I was already going to get a towel, but the fact that it's a duck, that's kind of cool. So it's just a little added feature, that something that probably necessarily wouldn't have pulled you in. You're already going to be there, but to see something even cooler once you're there, I get that.
Yes. Well, that I'm a huge fan of Walt Disney, and this is where this originated at. Walt Disney's philosophy of continuous improvement was plussing.
Okay.
And he was so brilliant in so many ways. And this still goes on in the Disney parks and Disney cruises and so on and so forth. You never know what you're going to expect. And you may go this time and the experience is great. And you may go the next time and they've added something that makes it even better. That's exactly what we're talking about today. And, our friend Jesse Cole with the Savannah Bananas talked a lot about that. And he too believes in this philosophy. He also was inspired by Walt Disney, and he applies that to the Savannah Bananas, and he's absolutely turned ordinary baseball into an extraordinary entertainment experience. And he is brilliant when it comes to plussing, right?
Yeah, I think, obviously everybody could do plussing, whatever company you work for, whatever business you're doing, everything could always be improved. Nothing's ever perfect. You might think it's perfect, but there's always something you could do to make it even better. So even if you're the number one bowling center in town, there's still room for plussing, right?
Right. Absolutely. And today guests expect more than just bowling and food and beverage. They want memorable experiences. And plussing actually helps the center or the venue differentiate and build those emotional connections. And it's those emotional connections that have people coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns good service into unforgettable moments. And that's what drives that loyalty. And more so, it also drives word of mouth advertising, right? You've got people talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. You might, you might, like I said, there might be more than one bowling center in your town, and somebody says, "Oh yeah, we like going to this one." Well, have you ever gone to this one? Because not only do they have bowling, but they do this when you're bowling, or they give you this, or their arcade is huge, but not only do they have an arcade, they have all this cool lighting when you're in there, or just little things that are making it even better to the customer.
That's right, and there are a number of things that you can do. And the best thing to do is just kind of brainstorm it out. Think where do we do a great job and how can we do it different? And I have to share with you, again, listeners, y'all know that I am a huge fan of Jesse Cole. We had him on our show a while back, and he just is brilliant when it comes to putting the fan first, right? But I heard recently something that he had done, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is just brilliant. And while the game was going on, they went out in the parking lot and were washing the guests' cars.
Oh, that's funny.
Now, how crazy is that? Now, if you walk out and you see your car is just sparkling because it's been cleaned, is that not going to make a memory?
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely it is.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just saw a video of him the other day where it said, it was kind of like this it said where they want me to be, and it showed like a suite, and he says where I'm actually at, and it shows him like in the crowd signing autographs. And then in that same video, I believe, security was like, all right, guys, you got to clear out. It was like after a game, and he said, no, he says, I'm going to sign everyone's autograph before we leave today. And then they said, well, they told us we need to clear this out. And he's like, well, I'll veto that. He's all, I'm going to stay here. And I was like, that's cool. You know what I mean? The fact that
Absolutely.
he cares about his, his guests and fans that much that goes, I mean, that alone is plussing. That makes me want to go to a game just seeing something like that,
That's plussing your service.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there are a number of ways in an entertainment business that you can plus it. I mean, for birthday parties, for example, you can have like a special rendition of a happy birthday, or you can add a photo booth, or you can, even within your system, your scoring system, you can add a personalized, welcome screen and put their baby picture on it, or, something like that, or incorporate. Now the systems have the ability to incorporate their picture into the animation on the screen.
Yeah. I've heard somebody say before that they just put a welcome sign at the front of the door, even, welcome such and such birthday party. And people, that's going to catch their attention when they walk in, like, oh, cool. Look, they have they have a welcome sign for me.
Yeah. We actually had a 6.5 foot, cutout bowling pin that was made out of foam core, and it had a slot for us to put the birthday child or the group event or whatever. And people loved it. They would stand there at the entrance and they would have everybody huddle around it and take a picture, right? That's great advertisement for us, because guess where that picture it usually winds up on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's great advertising. But there's other things that you can do to really plus your event. I'll tell you, one of the things that that's really cool, and it doesn't have to just be during the event. You can actually, you can plus an offering that you have. You can plus an experience that you offer in your center, but you can also plus the experience after the experience. I know that sounds kind of confusing, right? But hear me out. So after you have an event in your center, you can plus that by making sure that you send very heartfelt thank you to that customer. And I'll tell you, if you really want to go out of your way, and Orly, you've heard me say this before because I've actually gotten feedback on it, send them something via snail mail. Because that's a lot of people will take the time to send an email that says thank you. Copy paste, here you go. But if you really want to do something that makes it memorable, send them a handwritten thank you note.
Yeah.
That
would definitely catch your attention.
Yeah. And then kick it up a notch, as Emerald would say. Add a Starbucks gift card. Who doesn't like Starbucks? With a cute little message, thanks a latte for your business, or something else creative. I mean, that's easy. But again, it doesn't take a whole lot to make it a memorable experience. So take a look out there, see what you've got. The best thing, and you guys, listeners, y'all hear Orly and I talk about this all the time. Talk to your staff. Ask your staff, what do we do well? And get input from all of them. And then take each one of those ideas of what they think you guys do well and ask them to add one element to that.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking is, even when you welcome people, I was always big on, I like talking, obviously. So I was big on, hey, how's it going? Welcome in. Have you guys been here before? Like, I just like to talk to people. And that alone, that lets people know that you're happy they're there, But instead of just being welcome them, being excited when you welcome them, add something to it. Maybe compliment them on something. Imagine that, you walk in, hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming in today. Oh, I like your shoes. Those are pretty cool. And they'll be, oh, thank you.
Yes.
I see a lot of videos online when they're just doing little compliments, and it brings such a big smile to someone's face. And I think that throws them off, because, there's so many mean people in the world these days. When you get like a little compliment like that, it really like catches them off guard. So I think that alone, plus your greetings. There you go. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus your greetings. Also, I think it's really cool when you can learn, especially in a bowling center, a lot of the guests are, especially your competitive bowlers, they're there every week. It's very easy to learn them by name, or to learn something about them. But you can also do that because you have open plate bowlers that are there routinely. Make it a point to learn something about that person, to learn something personal about that person. And let me tell you, that makes a huge difference. Oh, I saw your daughter was going to be, featured on the high school football team as a cheer group this past week. How did that go? You know what? That makes them feel like they're part of you, part of the group. So it doesn't just have to be a product. It doesn't have to just be a promotion. Look at every opportunity that you have, and I can guarantee you could even plus the way your restrooms look, for Pete's sakes. Don't discount anything. Plussing is something that you do well. Maybe you have the cleanest restrooms in town, and you've always gotten feedback that the customers appreciate such clean restrooms. But guess what? What if you create a unique scent and you have that as your unique smell in your restrooms? I guarantee you people's going to take note of that.
Yeah, there's so many things like you said with the names. Remember we've talked about this on a past show, which, by the way, make sure you're going back and listen to past shows if you're new here. But we talked about remembering somebody's drink order, how easy, that's pretty easy. And a funny thing with that is you could even be wrong, but if you made that effort, like, hey, Dottie, how's it going? Was it a Pepsi you usually get every week? Oh, no, it's actually Dr. Pepper. Oh, I knew it was something like that. I think they just see that you're making effort, and they're like, it kind of becomes like oh, that was close. It was a Dr. Pepper, though. Like, I feel like that makes them happy that you even made that effort.
Yes, absolutely. And Orly, a lot of the scoring systems, I know for sure our scoring systems, BestX and our new Best NV, you have the ability within your system to plus their experience, right? There are chance games that you can just out of the clear blue, put a chance game on the screen. BestX, for example, has Lucky Train, and a virtual train runs, and it just randomly stops on someone and they win a prize. That's plussing it. They walked in there that day not expecting that.
Yeah.
They walked in expecting to have a good experience. But now they're going to walk away, especially if they're a winner, going, wow, that was really great. It makes a memory. So, yeah, guests today expect more than just bowling and food. They want a memorable experience. So I encourage our listeners, today, go out and look. What do you have that you do well? What do you have that you can plus? And
go out and plus those customers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We know Walt Disney is the best. He did it well, and he created an empire with this philosophy of plussing. Never be satisfied with the norm. Always be looking for a way to do it better and better and better. And as Jesse Cole says, make sure that you're putting your customer first. And you will be amazed at the repeat business that you have, the great user-generated content that you find out on social media about the experience. It's worth so much to the center.
I agree.
So, absolutely. Well, thank you so much, listeners, for being a part of today's episode of Seeds of Success. With decades of industry experience, we are honored to share ideas and strategies designed to help entertainment centers like yours thrive and grow. Together, we're planting seeds for a stronger, more successful future. Share this podcast with your team and industry friends, because the more seeds we sow, the greater the harvest. Until next time, listeners, let's continue to build success, one happy guest and one incredible plussed experience at a time.